Hey YouTube family, it's Daughter of the Most High. Happy weekend. It's the 4th of July, not anymore because it's after midnight, but for me, it's still the 4th of July. You know how that goes. So anyway, I hope you're having a good weekend. I know it is very hot for many of us, and I'm someone that actually enjoys the heat, and I feel bad that certain animals, and of course farmers and etc. are struggling due to this. I don't like that side of it. But for myself and just my summer fun, I do like the heat and the sun and the warm wind. And day before yesterday, I took my kayak out and loved it. I bought a kayak about a month ago, and this was my third time out. The first two times that I went out, I went on a small man-made lake because I'm not familiar with kayaking. My kayak is an Intex inflatable kayak. You can look it up on Amazon. I think it's about $125 or maybe $10 in shipping or something. I got mine on Facebook Marketplace, and it's like new, and I got it from this young single mom, and so it worked out well for her to get some money for her kayak. So anyway, first two times out, I went to that man-made lake that's in my city, and that was fine. But this man-made lake has many big houses all around it, and people have built docks and have pontoons. It's too small of a lake for a boat, but pontoons and kayaks work well there. Well, there's all kinds of kids yelling and playing and having fun all around the lake. So serenity cannot be found on this lake. Maybe for those kids, I don't know, or maybe for their parents, but not for me. So I went there twice just to kind of acclimate to my kayak, and then just recently over this weekend went to a different lake. It's called Peltier, Peltier, and that's pretty near my house. And it was an actual lake. This man-made lake, I'm not sure how deep it is, but you feel pretty safe. I mean, there's houses all around the edge and that kind of thing. So I went to this other lake. It's not a real big lake, but it's a perfect second level for me, and I loved it. I went out there. I'm going to go back tomorrow and go back again. This lake is it's shaped like this. It goes like that, and then there's a bunch of weeds there, and then it actually goes back, kind of like a horseshoe type lake. So I'm going to go, I went like almost like halfway across, and then I wanted to go left, and I just thought, you're having a good experience here. Give it a little rest. There were a few boats out, which I find very scary because boats like to go fast, and I don't blame them. I would too if I was driving a boat. But me and my little kayak could get plowed over pretty easily. So I'm going to give it a shot again tomorrow. It's going to be about 95 again, which again, I love. And I love being out in my little kayak and just enjoying the warm wind, the sun, and my little boat. And I'm going to go across and then further down, just this funny shaped little lake, and I'm going to check it out. So I'm excited and I'm loving it. And if I can just share a little story, because my friend John always watches my videos, and I did post this on his Facebook timeline. And John was telling me a couple years ago, he said, buy a kayak, just go ahead and buy a kayak, and he was like encouraging me to do this. Well, as I've shared on my channel before, I have been check to check for a very long time and paying up some debt. So while John was encouraging me to go ahead and splurge and buy this kayak, I'm hesitant because I get pretty freaked out over debt, and So I didn't want to, even though kayaks are not expensive. My kayak was $125. When I have debt, I am very like, it's one of my areas of anxiety. I always think I'm going to end up under a bridge, you know. I do. I just have really catastrophic thinking around debt, and I was paying up a significant amount of debt and had been for a long time. And I got that paid up a year ago, July, so praise God that's done. So I have been thinking, I need to buy a kayak, and so I bought it about a month ago. And when I was out on the lake, and not as nervous as my first two times out, I was much more comfortable. I mean, again, I'm 60 years old sitting in this little boat and just thinking, am I going to die if I tip over? No. And I'm not going to get held under. That's the plastic kayaks. The ones that are the hard plastic kayaks, I don't think my kayak would do that to me, where you can tip over and get stuck in your kayak underwater. And that's one of the first things they teach. So I don't think that's a problem with mine. I could slip out pretty quickly. And I also wear a life jacket, which, to be honest, I don't like wearing. I don't. It's not comfortable. But if something did happen or a boat went by with some pretty significant waves, I could tip over. I mean, kayaks aren't big, and I'm a newbie. And so I'm pretty cautious. But when I was out on the lake, I was thinking, John was right. I had less anxiety about being out there and just getting acclimated to kayaking. And I thought John was right. I should have bought this 2 years ago. It's not $300, it's $125. I should have done it. And I wish that I had been able to kayak the past couple summers, because the years pass so quickly. Are you noticing that? The years pass. It's always like summer. It's always Christmas. It's always your birthday. It's always somebody's birthday. The years just go so quickly now. And I wish I could have kayaked the past 2 summers and enjoyed that, because I really am finding that I love it. And on a quiet lake, there's a lot of serenity to that. And it's very important for us to find our fun and our serenity. It's an important part of life, and it brings balance to all the work and maybe some of the stressors we have. We've got to have our fun time. So when I went to Peltier Lake this weekend, there was a woman that also had an inflatable kayak. And I asked her about it. I was just heading out onto the lake, and I asked her, I liked her kayak. It was wider than mine, bigger than mine. And she said she bought it 3 years ago and has loved it. And so I wish I had asked her some of the other area lakes that she kayaks on, but I forgot. But she said she comes to this particular lake and really enjoys it. It's a quieter lake. It's more of like a, fishing lake. So it's a good starter lake for somebody that's learning to kayak. And she was older. She didn't look as old as me, but she's an older woman and just starting out, and said that she was loving it as well. So that was encouraging for me. And she just kind of pointed out different parts on the lake and just said, hey, just hang around like the edge. You're just starting. I told her I'd bought my kayak a month ago, and I need hot weather to kayak. So hang on one second, my computer. Yeah. And so she was very encouraging, and so that was fun too, to meet and chat with her for about 10 minutes before I went out on the lake. She was just finishing and I was just heading out, so that worked out nice. She also gave me some tips. She said when the boats go by, she said when you see those waves coming, and she said they can very easily, she was talking about tipping over too. And I said, I've never tipped over. And she said, tip yourself over sometime. Well, that wasn't what I wanted to do that day, but she said, tip yourself over to make sure you can get out quickly. And she said, do it in some very, not so deep water. her kayak was the kind where you sit on top, so she's not going to have any difficulty getting free. I mean, she's going to be free because hers was an open top, whereas my legs get kind of tucked in. Mine's enclosed, and if you look up Intex kayaks, you'll see how they are. But again, I'm a smaller person. She was a little bit larger person, and so I'm not concerned about that. But yep, I'm gonna have to flip over one of these times and just see how it goes. She told me that when the waves, like when the boats go by, she said cut into the wave, go directly, point the front end of your kayak right into the wave, and you'll cut into it. If you are parallel with the wave, you have a better chance of tipping over, getting pushed over. So I appreciated that tip from her. So that worked out well. So that's my new fun in the sun, and I'm loving it. And yeah, I do regret not buying a kayak a couple years ago and having more fun in the water in the past 2 summers. The second thing that I want to share in this video is my last video was about that it's time, and it is time. It is time to prepare for the end time events, and we've been doing that and learning about that. But part of that is, and as interesting as that is, we want to put effort into understanding the book of Revelation. Now, I thought I had kind of a, general understanding of it, and things are turning out, as I've shared, much differently than I thought, as far as the end times, the mark of the beast, that kind of stuff. So, about 3 weeks ago, I formed a Facebook group to study the book of Revelation. And what we are using in my Facebook, and it's a small group, but that's fine, is Tom Bradford's study on the book of Revelation. It's 52 1-hour teachings, and it's called, I think it's called Torah Class. Hang on one second. Let me click on one of these. It's on YouTube, and his channel is called Torah Class. He has that Jewish background, and so he does teach from the Jewish perspective, which I really appreciate. Now, there may be some differences. He has not spoken anything about the rapture yet, and I've listened to 4 teachings, but that's one of the biggest dividing points in the book of Revelation is pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, just after mid-trib when the Antichrist appears, that kind of thing. And so he's not talked about that. And we've listened to 4 lessons. So we started 2 weeks ago. We are now on our 3rd week, which is lesson 5. We're doing 2 per week. And I will put 1 lesson in the description box below so you can take a look at it. And that is lesson 1. And I think you're going to enjoy it. And if you choose to, create a Facebook group like I did, which is I posted on my timeline, anybody want to study the book of Revelation, we're going to be doing this particular teaching. We can't study it on our own. It's too complicated. There are people that have spent so much time studying the book of Revelation, and I need their expertise. So I'm going to continue studying it even when we're done with this one, which will take us 26 weeks with my group. We're doing 2 per week, and it's actually a lot. I stop the video a lot and write down notes in my notebook. Now, I don't know that everyone's doing that, but I'm doing that. So it takes me a lot longer to get through the teachings. So look for that in the description box. It's Torah Class, Tom Bradford, and he is, again, a little bit older man. He teaches so, thoroughly. He's articulate. He's so knowledgeable. And again, if you find that you may disagree with him on a certain point, if you choose to do this study, don't let a disagreement on one fairly insignificant point, cause you to leave the whole teaching. There are many people that disagree about various things regarding the book of Revelation because it is a challenging book. So I just wanted to share with you the teaching that I am sharing with my group, and I'm loving it. I am. I'm excited too. I'm right at the end of teaching 4, and then I'm going to start teaching 5 now again tomorrow. So, and I'm loving it. And I think Tom's a really good, mellow, articulate, knowledgeable teacher. And so I want to share that with you in case that was something that would help you to learn and understand the book of Revelation. So that's all I have for you today. I hope that you are blessed in every way. God is so good. The time is short. Let's plug in. Let's plug into the things of God, and let's separate out from the world system in more ways maybe than we've had before, and just really plug into the things of God and draw near to Him in prayer, in worship, and also in learning more about His Word. For me in particular is the book of Revelation, because I've never done a study on it. I've read books, but I don't consider myself knowledgeable by any stretch. I still need the expertise of teachers that have really devoted themselves to the teaching. So anyway, fam, happy summer days, sunshine, a warm wind, and just enjoying the time that we have here in this blessed summer. I hope you're not having too hard of a time due to the heat, because I feel bad, because I'm actually somebody that enjoys it. But so I hope all is well with you. Be blessed, and I will see you soon.